so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope your teammates are here that we invited. If you guys are here, hello in the background. I'll give you a quick intro and then we'll get into the questions. So this
Awesome.
morning,
Sounds
to
good.
start off of our day, we have Amanda, who is a recruiter at Instant Teams. She's not only a recruiter, she is a career coach and a proud Navy spouse and huge advocate for the military community. So I'm really excited to have you here today to tell us all the background of what recruiters are thinking. Can you kind of start us out with your story, your transition from your start in your career and then where you're at now and kind of how you got into the space of advocating for the military community?
Of course. So, yes, I actually grew up in the Navy. My parents, or my dad, I should say, he's a CB. He retired after 30 years, and of course, I'm older than that. So I literally grew up in the CBs, and then of course, like most military brats out there, we all kind of tend to marry into the military as well or join ourselves. So while I did not join myself, I did marry into the submarine force of the Navy. So I've literally been Navy pretty much my entire life. My husband retired after 22 years. He retired during COVID. So listening to all of the chatter about the VA disability ratings and things like that, I get where you guys are coming from. As a military brat and or Navy brat and a Navy spouse, I know the challenges that spouses go through and active duty members go through when it comes to finding and securing work and it being sustainable work and transferable work and all the skills that go into that. So my career, I started in retail. I have a huge retail background. I've worked in many different retail industries, both as regular cashier shifts, all the way up through management, inventory control, procurement, vendor relationships, customer experience, and mentoring those new employees that are coming in. Um, as a military spouse, I was also a Navy ombudsman. That correlates to like a key spouse. Worked heavily with FRGs, SRGs for those not familiar with Navy terms. Really just focusing on helping and mentoring those that are new to the military, navigating all of those challenges. I've been through over 15 PCSs, both as a kid and as a submarine spouse. So navigating all of those different challenges and really being a support system there for everybody else. I did get into career coaching and recruiting with Instant Teams. I started as a readiness coordinator here. And as a readiness coordinator, my main goal was helping people recognize what their skills were and how that translates to jobs on the open market. Tim Fast Attack, he did 22 years on Fast Attack. Um, I don't know what the BN lifestyle looks like aside from our time in Washington State, but he was a trainer there. He didn't do he would do rides, but they were very minimal. But yes, go Fast Attacks. um, he an MT. No, he was an FT. His FT whole career, loved it. For those that don't know, submarines and FT, fire control, it's not a fireman. He pushes buttons, and most of his job is classified, so really have no idea what he does. Um, and on the civilian side, he's doing basically the same thing he was doing in the Navy, but for the shipyard. So he gets to do all sorts of fun sea trials and building and combat systems and all that fun stuff. Uh, awesome. Awesome. Yeah. We didn't make it to Kings Bay. We've been in Groton forever. And we did a tour over in Washington State, but everybody really likes his skill set. So they kept him here in Groton for a good portion of it. Um, Over 19 years of sea duty. So he was gone a lot. So lots and lots of support on my side for the commands that we were attached to and helping both active duty and the spouses, girlfriends, family members really navigate what that looks like. With that though, recruiting um, and skills translation, it's huge for veterans. I would get into meetings with our veterans and they would literally go, "This is all I know. I don't know what skills I have. I don't know how to navigate this process. I'm very confused on what this looks like." So, a meeting, and really the one that sticks out the most, I met with someone who was directing West Point, and he got on with me and he's like, "I have no skills. You did all this time in the military. You ran West Point. You have skills. So please don't go into this transition thinking that you do not have skills because your skill sets are there. It's just a matter of navigating and narrowing down what those skills look like from your military terminology to civilian terminology. Because a lot of people are just not going to understand what all of those different things look like.
Mhm.
Admin, lots of terminology, PCSing, all of the admin terminologies, all the acronyms. And you send in a resume somewhere for an admin position and you're like, why am I not getting hired? Why is this not coming across right? Honestly, if you have a military read through, looks like PCS orders resume, no one in the civilian side, I shouldn't say nobody, most people are not going to understand what that actually is. They're just not going to understand and they're going to bypass you because they don't understand those terms. So you have skills. You know exactly what you can do and what you brought to the table in the military. Now you just have to figure out how to translate that into these positions you're looking for. Um, After being a recruitment coordinator, I moved over into full-on recruitment. I still do career coaching. I still meet with those candidates that come in and go, "I have no idea what I'm doing. I've applied to all these positions and I'm not getting hired anywhere." I'll go in, give you some ideas and tips on your resume. I do not rewrite resumes. I am a huge advocate on you bringing your personality into your resume. That is how you are going to, that's your sales page, basically. That is going to be what you're bringing to the table. And I really want it to be personalized for you by you. Um, in order to do that, though, in those career coaching sessions, I go through what you're looking for in a position, really what you want to bring to the table, what your hours are, what your salary requirements are, and everything that you want in your ideal position. That way we can kind of work and see where the best routes to go from there. And then, of course, interview prep. Interview prep is huge when it comes to interviewing for positions. But going back to really translating those skills, because that right there is really going to be the bread and butter of all of it. AI is huge right now. Definitely, you can correlate your skills into AI, but don't rely on it for everything. That right there is like your screwdriver or your pen. You really want to have that be a tool, but not the main aspect of it. On the recruitment side with AI, what we're seeing a lot of is very generic, pulled out type resumes where it's just a list of keywords and it really takes your entire personality out of the process. And again, what you're bringing to the table, your leadership skills, you don't want that watered down. You really want that to showcase all that you bring to the table. Applying for positions, apply for them. If the job description fits your background and what you want to do, apply for it. I don't recommend going in and applying for everything that's available for any company because that's going to bring a lot of frustration to you. So going in and applying for every position, whether you think you're qualified for it or not, yes, a lot of people do it. Sometimes it gets a foot in the door and there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of times on the other side, it's going to frustrate you because you're going to end up with a lot of rejection emails that are going to come through. And no one likes that. No one wants to feel like I'm doing something wrong. So networking is huge. Eliminative positions, apply for what you feel you are qualified for and can grow into. It's okay if you don't meet all the qualifications. Here at Instant Teams, we typically have a required section and then must haves, and then would like. We do have some very niche positions that have hard required skills. But on the other side of that, a lot of skills are transferable. And I'm a huge believer in transferable skills, especially military spouses and all of our veterans. You may have an admin position. You may have worked at PSD. You may have done, PCS coordinating. Maybe you were in security. Maybe you were, on a submarine and you have no idea how to translate those skills. But you have those skills. You have that attention to detail. You have that admin experience. You have everything you could possibly bring to the table. It's just a matter of translating those and understanding what you can do and what that job description is looking for. Most job descriptions are really going to be the basis of what they're looking for. And meeting those requirements, it's a great way to get your foot in the door there. Now, here at Instant Teams, we do really focus on customer experience, and on the recruitment side, candidate experience. We really want to make sure we're transparent with our positions and what that looks like.
Yeah, on that subject, I wanted to ask, what would you recommend for some of the veterans that are making a career pivot? So they have a lot of the soft skills, but they might not have any direct experience in something that they're wanting to go into.
So definitely when it comes to not necessarily meeting those hard skills, really it just depends on the position and where that wiggle room is. Apply for it. There is always room for growth. And then even if you get the interview and you may not have those full skills that recruiter or hiring manager is looking for, be straight up, ask them, hey, what can I do? I want to pivot into this industry. What can I do to improve my chances? And most of the time, they are going to tell you, hey, take this Coursera course, get this certificate, or of course, go back to school, or why don't you get a mentor in the industry or pick up an internship? There are paid internships out there. Don't discredit them. Don't discredit volunteer work either. You may be able to pick up some of those skills you need in a volunteer position. So don't discredit those opportunities either.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to talk a little more specifically about Instant Teams. You mentioned on the page, or the Instant Team page mentions that the military spouse employment rate is 5 times down right now, which is insane. What started that drive for wanting to really specifically target military spouses and veterans?
So our founders are both military spouses, and they recognize the need for transportable careers for military spouses. As everyone knows, military spouses have a tough haul of, licensing requirements depending on states. If you get orders overseas, it becomes very difficult, especially in the European countries, because of laws and different requirements for licensing and visas there. So really it becomes a huge challenge. I know for me personally, when I moved from, high school, I started working when I was 16. I started super early and just ran with it. I was working for a fantastic company. I had a corporate route going. I was managing a photo lab back in the day where film was very new to digital. So that was fun transition there. But working in those different aspects was great. But then I got married and moved up here to Groton. And people up here in Groton know submarines, people aren't going to hang around. Spouses aren't going to hang around. They're going to move at some point. So they really were not receptive of it. I ended up working 3 temp jobs for several years just because I couldn't gain full year-round employment. So I would switch between the 3 accounts every season. And it just became one of those things to where there's so many people that want to work, but they're just not given the opportunity because employers are scared that they're going to leave. And finally, I hopped to other companies where I did gain full employment, and I learned a lot of different transferable skills, but I also did volunteer work in the meantime as well. If I had gaps, I hopped in and did volunteer work and gained those extra skills, lots of different certifications, networking in the community, really making sure, you know, the state you live in, check out the state employee situation there as well. Usually very open to veterans and military spouses because you bring a level of resilience and adaptability and understanding for structure that a lot of people don't have. Um, and then really just navigating transferable, being able to transfer to different states, different communities, and take your job with you was huge for our founders. And really, as they deep dove into that, they began more into customer experience. Military spouses, they're huge on customer experience. They have had to navigate so many different challenges and so many different aspects of life that most people just can't even understand. They just don't have that experience with navigating these different challenges. I mean, PCSing, you have to pick up your entire house and go move it to an area where you may not have, family support, friends, jobs. You may not even know the area at all. And if you're one of those very lucky people who get, PCS to one of those very remote locations, you may not have very much infrastructure at all without driving 3 or 4 hours. And our founders really understood that there was a need for that. And it's great to see that because back in my younger years, oh, I would have loved Instant Teams way back then because it's just such a great mission and a great um, service to give back to our military spouses and our veterans.
Yeah, absolutely. So are you guys all over the country? Are you all remote from different places, or is there a home base anywhere?
We are all 100% remote. We did have a home base in Southern Pines, and they realized that it was just a really underused type uh, setup, really, because I mean, it was great. We could have all sorts of different meetings, and it was a public workspace. So if you wanted to work remotely from the office, you could. But primarily, everyone is remote. We have one recruiter on our team in Southern Pines. I am actually in Lebanon, Connecticut, which is about a half hour or so from Groton, depending on traffic, or if you get stuck behind a tractor, because I am in a farm town. Um, we have a recruiter in Arkansas. She's the Air Force wife. And we also have someone in Pensacola. So she is
Okay.
another Navy spouse. So all sorts of branches, all sorts of locations. I know we have people in Alaska, Hawaii. We've had a few that are overseas. So our team is spread. We
Yeah.
have people everywhere, aside from our hiring restrictions for different positions and different reasons. We are everywhere, and it's great.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know a lot of us understand that a lot of the people in this call have been in for 20 plus years, so they're looking for something remote where they can either travel with their family or stay home with their family all the time. So are all of the positions that you guys have remote, the ones that you bring on, or
Primarily, yes. Every once in a while, and I say every once in a blue moon, we get a position that maybe has a hybrid situation, or an in-person requirement. Every once in a while, there may be like an in-person training requirement, but we're very upfront with what that looks like. But yes, most of our positions are remote. They are W-2 positions. I've been with Instant Teams 3.5 years. I have not seen any 1099 contracts come through in the entire time I've been here. So they are great W-2 positions. We do have permanent positions here at Instant Teams. We do have temporary positions here at Instant Teams. If you really want to get your feet wet with call center role, or in a particular industry and you're interested in what we're offering, definitely apply. It's a great way to get your feet wet when it comes to, call center roles, customer service, customer experience, or industry hopping there. We also offer a partner job board as well. So the partner job board, we partner with different partners. They're really looking for a military spouse and veteran talent. You do
Yeah.
go through their hiring process. We do not control any part of that, but they are really, really going forward with finding that military talent and what they bring to the table, because people are recognizing military talent is absolutely amazing and they bring a lot of skills to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Where can the veterans on this call find that board? That sounds so awesome.
So if you go to instantteams.com, you can find all of our information there. There's spouse community, there's different resources, different webinars. All of it's there. You can create an account, you can upload your resume and go right from there.
Amazing. That's so awesome. Chris, do you have a question?
Well, first of all, before I get started, hello, and hopefully you can hear me because sometimes my mic, I have a couple microphones, and so sometimes it doesn't want to work. Can you hear me? I'm assuming so. All right.
I can hear you.
My question is, so like, is this just for veterans and like spouses? Because like my mother, for instance, she's having some like issues, physical issues. She can't really do a whole lot of like going out and stuff anymore. And so I'm in the process of trying to find her a remote position. And I just bought her like a computer and I'm getting it all set up and everything. And so I'm trying to see like, is there any appetite for other extended family members outside of just like the veterans? And because I'm very interested in potentially talking with you about something for my mother, if that's possible, and potentially my cousin who's also looking for remote.
Yes, of course. We do actually do hire outside of the military community. Our primary focus is military spouses, veterans, and their family members. Because I know when I was first searching for a job back when, my dad was still in and, I was 16, it could be tough. And I get it. And of course, that was back before most people were even considering remote as an option. But with that, yes, we do offer positions to those outside of the military community, but we do really focus in on our military spouses, our military veterans, our reservists, and our military affiliated people first before we go into anyone outside of that military affiliation. But yes, we do. Your mom, your cousin, have them create accounts and send them our way, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm gonna connect with you on LinkedIn. I just looked at your
Awesome.
profile, and then I'll reach out to you to discuss further. Thank you.
Most definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, thank you, Amanda. That's awesome. I was wondering the same thing, if it was just for veterans and military spouses or if we went further. Excuse me, so sorry. I was also wondering, do the ranges vary from entry level to higher level positions?
Yes, we have a wide range of entry level all the way through mid level and high level positions. We do end up with positions that come available here on our corporate team. We have positions that are definitely entry level and everything that falls in between there. Customer experience is our bread and butter. We do want to make sure that we're providing great experience for our customers. We have call center, chats, emails, admin, um, all sorts of different industries, claims management, case management, EAs, all the different things that we have going on here at Instant Teams. Positions come in and we roll with it. I have learned about a lot of different industries that I didn't even know existed. Because again, I have a huge retail background, but defined contributions, we've hired for that. So if you are a financial whiz, we do have positions that come up in the financial district as well. You love spreadsheets, we have positions for that. Really, it just depends on what we are hiring for at the time, what is available. But yes, we have all sorts of positions from entry level to high level positions.
Yeah. With those positions, are there some misconceptions that businesses might have with veterans? I know I've heard a lot in the in the past about that?
There are always misconceptions, and I love bringing to the table what a military veteran or a military spouse can bring to them. A huge advocate. I will go toe to toe with anybody when it comes to, oh, well, they may leave. But what if they don't leave? What if you have someone who can pivot? You want to change a system, you know what? They can handle it. They have
Mhm.
inventory experience, but you're looking for vendors. Look, they can deal with that. So there are a lot of ways to pivot and advocate for our military veterans and really turn those misconceptions around because military can do it.
Yeah, I love how personable you guys are that you advocate for everybody. That's so awesome.
Look, everybody deserves a job and nobody deserves it more than our military. They have given so much to the United States and they deserve everything in return for that. So yes, we are going to go toe to toe with everybody for that.
Yeah, absolutely. When you guys bring on a job, do you make sure that they're really veteran friendly before you post that job on your guys' site or start representing that job?
Our sales team and all of our positions here are fully vetted.
Okay.
I cannot speak on their processes for that because I am not involved in that.
Yeah.
But yes, they do make sure that they are aware that we are primarily military talent and we go through that at first. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Because I know I've seen some places they'll rep that they're veteran friendly, and then you get in there and it's not quite the case. So that's awesome that you guys ensure that they are and make them known that you're mostly supporting veterans and military spouses before. Yeah,
Most
that's
definitely. If you go onto the website, our website, you can see we are full force military friendly and supportive of our military members and their families.
yeah, absolutely. I was looking at it today, and it's like every page you see something about a military spouse or a veteran, either saying something about them or a percentage about them. Something on every page is about them. So I thought that was awesome.
Yes, we are very, very military friendly. Like I said, all of our recruitment team is military affiliated. My husband's retired. I believe our director's husband has also left the military, and two active duty spouses, one Army and one Air Force. So right there, just as our team in a nutshell, we are all military affiliated there. Um, Again, our founders, military affiliated.
Hmm.
Erica McManus, I believe her husband retired not too long ago from the Army. And Liza Roswell, she is still, her husband is still very much active.
Okay.
So very, very military friendly all the way around. Most of our corporate team are all military. And again, different branches, Coast Guard, Space Force, Air Force, Navy, Army, all of it. It's Marines. I've worked with a few Marines as well. So very, very well connected with the military.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. There's a couple people commenting saying how much they like the page, how the job listing is very simple, very easy to read. So props to whoever on your team does that.
We are all about being streamlined. Our company name is Instant Teams. We do move very quickly here. We try to fill as quickly as we can. We don't like to drag out the hiring process. We don't have to. We like to be fully transparent when it comes to our job positions and what we're bringing to the table. Nobody wants
Mhm.
to try and have to read through, a 40-page job description and try to figure out what all the fluff is. We try to take that fluff out and really just get to the meat and potatoes of the positions and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Chris, you have another question?
Hey Amanda, I am definitely exploring pretty heavily this website, and so I am I'm actually curious. I was looking at some of the positions, and I don't see a lot of like requirements listed for some of these positions, and so I guess what's the potential that, like, let's say like one of the positions I'm interested in for myself, for instance, I just clicked on it, is the head of claims compliance employee benefits position, but it doesn't really list kind of, you know, specific requirements that they're looking for. And so, is there potential I might run into a situation where they say, oh, we're looking for this particular license or this many years of experience? Without those being listed, how can I navigate that to make sure I'm not just applying for stuff that I wouldn't be a fit for?
Yes. So once you create your full profile with Instant Teams, you go in and you'll get all of that information. So really just creating that account and you'll get to see a lot more information on there. That is one of our job board positions, which is awesome. You're looking at that right now. Those are all looking for military talent, and you would go through their actual hiring process instead of us here on the Instant Teams recruitment side. But they are absolutely great.
Thanks,
Thank,
Chris.
thank you. That helps.
You're very welcome.
John, go ahead.
Yeah, so the same job board that Chris was mentioning has like 8 to 10 postings. Once we create an account, is there access to like a larger job board, or is it like just a rotating list of jobs that just keep coming in for you guys?
So yes, it could be a very rotating list. It just depends on what our partners are hiring for. We do have a lot of partners that come in randomly. We also partner with a lot of small businesses and a lot of newer businesses that are coming in. So it could be, hey, we need one hire to help with, admin or an EA or whatever the case may be there.
Mhm.
So that job listing board could change. It's not going to be it's not going to be the exact same jobs every time you go to it. We have people that check our job board every day, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can sign up for push notifications for other positions that are coming in as well. That way, it'll
Thanks
give
for
you
answering my next question already.
So yes, you can go ahead and, create that account and see what's going in there. But yes, we do have a lot of different positions that kind of circle in and out and circle back as we expand our teams and as our partners expand their teams and go from there.
Excellent. Hey, thank you very much. Also, I
You're very
sent you a
welcome.
LinkedIn request, so
I will connect, most definitely. I love growing my network and expanding there. And you can always reach out on LinkedIn, and you can reach anyone on our talent team here at talent@instantteams.com. You can reach out to me personally. It is amanda.moreno@instantteams.com as well. And I'm always up for connecting and helping everybody out.
Thank you so much, Amanda. My next question, I kind of wanted to circle back around to resume specifically. Are there a lot of mistakes that you see veterans making on their resume, like a common mistake?
The biggest common mistake that I see for our veterans is using a federal resume for a civilian type position. So the longest resume that I've had come through was 72 pages long, and it was their entire career. I would not do that. I definitely would not do that. Just because no recruiter is really going to read through 72 pages. Now, I did just because I'm like, oh, do I know this person? Maybe I've come across them at some point. But yes, I'm excited that the federal resumes are being limited to 2 pages now. That right there is a huge game changer. It is excessive, the amount of information. Now, there are civilian jobs out there. I'm going to speak to my husband's position. He worked at a company called Amentum, and his was very military centered. So with that, yes, it was a much longer resume and different requirements there. But your general resume, keep it to about 2 to 3 pages. Have that professional summary up there. That professional summary that's up there, it kind of takes the place of a cover letter. Some companies do require a cover letter. Don't discount that. But really having a statement about you and what you bring to the table. Kind of think of it as your advertisement, because really what we're looking for is someone who has that personality, has the skills that we're looking for, and can put that in a nice contained section. Now, when it comes to your, especially military career, say you're in for 20 years, you have a lot of experience. You've been to a lot of different commands. You've seen and done a lot of different things. So really just trying to summarize what you brought to the table in those commands. Don't list all of them. Do like, your most recent ones or the ones that are most relevant to the position you're applying for. Maybe you took like an off-road type situation where you became a recruiter for my dad did a recruiter tour. Ironically, that's where I met my husband back when I was in high school. So it's he took a recruiter tour, not something CVs typically do. So it was kind of off the beaten path. But some positions do that in the military where you're able to have that extra kind of industry hop within the military itself. So you can include that in there. But really focus on what you brought to the table. If you came in and reprogrammed a program that was not working for a command, say you took on career counselor, maybe you're a career counselor at some point. Maybe you took on those financial advisors. Maybe you were, a PT coordinator or whatever the case may be, all those extracurriculars that you can throw in. Maybe you had to do an ammo supply and you're having issues getting what you needed. Bring those to the table as well. Put those in there because what a recruiter really wants to see in your resume is what you brought to the table, not the job description of the company that you had applied for or what that position entailed. So really just narrowing that down and picking out those things that are relevant.
Okay, awesome. So you brought it up. Cover letters, I don't know if anybody else feels this way. Cover letters confuse me. So I see so many that's just repeating the first paragraph or what it says in the resume. How do you make it so your cover letter stands out from your resume? It's not just saying the exact same thing.
So again, yes. And really, I love AI for cover letters. I'm not going to lie. Put in there, hey, I need a cover letter. Here's the job description. Here's this. And it can formulate a good cover letter. I have not seen very many bad cover letters generated by AI. And I love AI for that. Really on a cover letter, you just want to focus, hey, I'm interested in this position. Again, this is what I can bring to the table. You don't want it to be exactly the same thing as that mission statement. Now, I will say, read what the requirements of the cover letter are, because different companies will have different requirements for that cover letter. And they may want you to write a paragraph about, what your favorite pet is, or what, I came across a coffee company not too long ago, and they wanted on their cover letter what your favorite coffee drink is. So really just pay attention to what those requirements are for that cover letter, because some of them might be a little bit out there.
Yeah, that's so. Why do you think companies throw those kind of things in there?
One, they want to see if you're paying attention. Unfortunately, there are a lot of bots out there and bad actors that are coming through and trying to just flood the market with positions or applications. And really just, they want to see if you're paying attention, because a lot of people that just go in, they don't even read the job description. They just, oh, I'm applying and we're going to go right with that. So really being able to narrow down those that are reading the job descriptions, reading, the application instructions, because different ones have different application processes. Not every hiring process is going to be the same. Same thing here in Instant Teams and our positions here. Different positions, different accounts that I hire for, all of them have different requirements and different hiring processes. Some of them have one interview where I get to make the hiring decision. Some of them have 2 interviews. Some of them have 3 interviews. We have a couple positions that actually have homework involved with it, different demo ideas and stuff like that. So just pay attention to what that hiring process looks like and what that application process is, because some of them, much like the federal, could have different little pieces in there that if you nail those pieces, guaranteed to put through the door for an interview.
Okay. Awesome, thank you. I just
Yeah.
have one more question. If anybody else has any questions in the next little bit that I'm talking, just go ahead and raise your hand. But the last thing I wanted to ask was, for a lot of these veterans who might be getting discouraged with job applications, do you have any advice for them on that?
While I understand it is fully discouraging out there right now, it is a tough job market. But again, something will stick at some point. And I know it's frustrating. I talk to veterans and military spouses day in and day out, and they are just so frustrated. But keep at it. I know it's frustrating. And use your resources. There are so many resources out there for you. Seven Eagles, fantastic. I love what you guys are standing for. I love the extra skill bridge there. I love all of that. But really, really being available to use those resources and do the work. Don't be afraid to go out there and network. LinkedIn, network. You never know where a connection is going to come through and get your foot through the door somewhere, or really just, get in there. And really, I know it's frustrating. It's a challenging market out there all the way around, but you can do it. You've already survived the military. If you can survive the military and everything that it throws at you, navigating the civilian job market world, you can do it. Everybody can do it, and you guys can definitely do it. So, yes, it stinks. I know, and I know it sounds like it was hammered in my head as a kid. No just means next opportunity. So take the experience, move on to the next one, and go from there, because you deserve jobs. And at some point, you will get one that you love and that you will grow in, and it will work out.
Yeah, very well said, Amanda. I love that. We've already done the hard part. We have done it's something way harder than probably the job we're all going to find on the outside. Change sucks, no matter what it is. So we'll all get through it. So I really appreciate that.
You're very welcome. Yes. And I'm always here. You can always definitely reach out to me. I'm here to help the best that I can. And I'm more than happy to give additional resources and network and everything like that. So I am here for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I can represent that as well. Every time we've talked, you've been so kind. So really, if you guys need anything, reach out to Amanda. I'm gonna throw your LinkedIn in the chat one more time, just so everybody can grab it. And also, if you want to chat with Amanda, put it in your end of the day survey. We have an end of the day survey every day, Amanda, where they can put if they enjoyed the person that spoke and if they want to talk to them in the future. So I'm sure you're going to be getting a bunch of connects right after this.
I look forward to it. Yes, most definitely. I love that. Like I said, I'm all for a connection and, growing network. You never know where a connection may come in there. And it's, I have come across a lot of different connections, and really navigating that space is great. I had someone that I was working with not too long ago, and she had applied for one of our temp positions. She really wanted to get into a customer service position because she wasn't really having much luck in an admin position. And she had basically been admin her entire career with the military. And it just so happened I did her interview, and I had a position that had opened up that was mostly admin. And I was like, hey, you know, while I think you'd be great in this position you're actually interviewing for, I really think that you'd be a better fit for this other position. Here's a few details that I know about the position, but I'm going to move you over to the other recruiter that's handling that.
Uh-huh.
And lo and behold, she was hired in that position. So it was a LinkedIn connection, turned around into a position that I was actually hiring for. And then we moved her to another position that was actually a better fit for her. So you never know where that's going to go. And a really good recruiter or hiring manager is going to recognize, this position you're interviewing for may not be the best fit for this person, but we have this position that's coming up or that we're hiring for, and you might be a better fit for that. So
Yeah, 100%. And I think we are all way more capable than we give ourselves credit for. We always talk about how we do not give ourselves enough credit. We are very trained into saying we instead of I. and kind of downplaying what we do. So I like that you highlighted that.
Once you get into the civilian side, and I know the military is all team, we, everything like that. Once you get into the civilian side, it is about you. It is about what you bring to the table. And I know that is very challenging for a lot of veterans to understand that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have someone that's going to tell you, hey, in 2 years, you're PCSing to this. This is going to be your job. There's nobody there that's going to tell you that. My husband struggled with clothes. I'm not going to lie, and he'd probably be super embarrassed if he hears, any portion of this. He struggled with clothes. He is used to putting on his uniform and going to the boat and doing what he had to do every day. And then when it came time to actually pick civilian attire, it was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So it is those interesting challenges where you're getting out of the military and you do not have that structure that it's basically been ingrained into you on what you can do. You have choices now. You get to do those things, and it's about you. It doesn't have to be about we, the military team, in that aspect. So keep that in mind as you navigate this whole process.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's been the hardest thing for me. I don't know if anybody else is the not having that structure anymore. I think it's hilarious how many people just related to the clothes thing. Like there's like 6 people in the chat related to that right now. So that is such a real issue.
Most definitely. I know my dad actually had a much harder transition time than my husband did. I mean, my dad, he joined when he was 17. He had a kid. It's my parents had me stupid young, and they will tell everybody that. But with that, navigating that, when he retired, he really struggled, like really, really struggled when it came to everything, because the military is literally all he knew. And he would call me up and he's like, look, I applied for these retail jobs. I don't know what they're talking about. I have no idea what's going on. And I would just walk him through all these different terms and everything. And he was like, I don't even know if this is what I want to do, but I need something because I'm so used to doing something that he didn't know how to not do anything. So he didn't understand downtime. He drove my mom crazy. I'm not going to lie about that. Like it was a tough transition. Um, so definitely, keep up on that. Like you have choices now. You have that ability to navigate your clothes and, your vacation. My husband struggled with vacation time too, because they're like, oh, you need a day off. Okay, whatever, not a big deal. Um, so really just navigating those small things that really are just hard to navigate in the military, like PTO and clothes. So just keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Those little things are so underrated. So thanks for bringing it to light. Well,
Yes,
thank you so much for coming on to today, Amanda. I had a really good time. I really, really appreciate having you here. And thank you for if there's any other Instant Team members on the call. Thank you guys for being here in the background and listening. We're happy to have you guys here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys inviting me out here. Again, feel free to reach out to me or our recruitment team. We're all on LinkedIn. You can search for us. We're there. We're all up for helping you navigate this transition time for you. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, Amanda.
Thank you. You guys as well.